Alright, hi guys. So I was shaving earlier and I don't know how it happened again, but it always seems to happen. But I got too much shaving foam out of the bottle. And I don't know why, but it is one of those things that I can just never correctly judge how much I'll need. Because it's always less than I think, which is like kind of annoying because I end up wasting a load and I don't like wasting stuff, but that's just how it is. I use the same shaving foam every single time and it's a foam, not a gel, because I don't really like the gels that much. But without fail, it always seems to come out like in a very slightly different consistency than the last time. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I shave every other day, so you'd think I should know by now. However, I don't. However, I obviously do not, because there's like sometimes it can come out like really actually like foamy, and it will look like a lot, but when you actually like spread it on your face and all of that, then it doesn't actually go as that far. There are other times where it comes out more like really more liquidy, and that's like not disconcerting, but like it's never what I expect. And yeah, then there are other times when it's like halfway in between and it seems to come out like there's like a tiny bit will go a really long way, and that always catches me off guard. And like I can never tell how it's going to be until it starts, like until I squeeze the top of the bottle lid, because it's one of those like pressurized bottles or cans or whatever you want to call them, so you can never tell what it's going to be like. And it says to shake before use, which I always do, and still that doesn't seem to make much of a difference. And it's really annoying, especially recently, because I've switched to using a different razor. The first one I had that I used like in uni, the one of the bits like attaching the head to the handle snapped, so I couldn't use it anymore, so I had to get a different one. And I went back to the same shop that I bought it from, and I couldn't see the same type, so I had to go for a different one that was not not the same brand even. The first one I had was a Gillette one, and then the next, like when I went back, the cheapest thing I could find was the Harry's razor. And the Gillette one had been like a sensitive one or something like that. And, my skin is like a little bit sensitive, I think. So like it had worked well for me before I liked it. And then I tried the Harry's one and I just didn't get on with it at all, which was really annoying. But like I just couldn't find the same thing that I'd had before. And I didn't want to spend another like 20 quid on a razor. So I just got the Harry's one instead. And I used the Harry's ones that have the like interchangeable disposable heads in. And I used those like back and forth for ages. And I never really liked them that much. They always were slightly more irritating than that. And only recently I found another Gillette one. I don't know if it's the same exact one I had before. I can't remember. It was too long ago, but it's a very similar one, it looks like, and it's sensitive again. And it's got one of those like pads either side of the actual blades. That like, I don't know if it's got like a built-in moisturizer or something like that. That seems a bit too like fancy, but it's got something smooth that's probably the sensitive part of it. And I don't really know how to describe it, but it feels like when I'm using this new razor that I don't need to use as much shaving foam as I was doing before, which is really weird. And because before, where the Harry's razor wasn't like sensitive enough, I wouldn't mind as much like using a bit more shaving foam, because it would be like a little bit more protection from the blades itching or whatever. But now all of a sudden I like don't really need to do that anymore, and it's completely thrown me off. Because without fail, every single time I always get way too much, well not like way too much, but I always get too much shaving foam. And that's like the worst way around to have it as well, because if I don't get enough, I can just like squeeze some more out of the bottle. Like that would be a lot better, but for some reason I can literally just press the top of the bottle for like a second and way more than I need shoots out, and it's so annoying. So I never know how to judge it, because every time I think, okay, surely that's gonna be like plenty or like even less than I need, it turns out to be too much. This really is not the most significant problem I have in my life right now, but it was something I thought I'd talk about. So yeah, that's it. See you tomorrow.